Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely pumped to have you guys here with us today. Look, we are jumping right in to take a really grounded, hard look at a massive shift that is literally happening right in front of us. It's a fundamental shift in how we define, how we display, and how we actually experience success in the modern world. For decades, right, the blueprint for success was loud, it was flashy, it practically demanded to be seen. But the tides are completely changing. Today, we're breaking down the profound difference between wealth that screams for attention and wealth that just whispers in total, unshakable peace.
Think about this for a second. There's a strange kind of silence surrounding people who are truly comfortable with money. You know exactly what I mean, right? You've definitely seen both of these worlds without even realizing it. On one hand, you've got the person who documents every single luxury purchase, every ridiculously expensive dinner. They are constantly posting these symbols of success while quietly carrying this heavy, grinding stress that literally never leaves them. It's this deep anxiety about maintaining the facade, paying those massive bills, and making sure everyone still thinks they're the big boss. But then, on the other hand, you have the person who wears simple clothes, drives an ordinary, super reliable car, speaks softly, and just moves through life with a calm that absolutely cannot be faked. The fundamental difference between these two individuals, it isn't their income, it's their emotional weight.
All right, let's get into part one, the illusion and the trap, which is all about the burden of visible wealth.
For years, society has basically brainwashed us into believing that wealth absolutely has to be visible. We've been sold this complete lie that success has to be put on a public stage to be real. Like, if you didn't post it, did it even happen? Somewhere along the line, an expensive experience stopped being a private pleasure and mutated into public evidence that you're winning at life. A vacation became content. A car became an entire identity. A watch became a billboard for your ego. Which brings us to this concept of emotional spending. It is a modern form of self-soothing. Because here is the raw, unfiltered truth. Loud luxury was never ever just about the money. It's almost always about fear. The fear of being overlooked, of not mattering, of falling behind in a world that is completely obsessed with status and hierarchy. People are literally spending money just to protect themselves emotionally, desperately trying to create an identity on the outside that they don't actually feel on the inside. They're buying confidence off the rack because they haven't built it internally.
And man, this trap creates a brutal cycle. Check this out. First, you buy that incredibly expensive item just to avoid feeling invisible. And hey, for a brief moment, it totally works. You get that hit of public admiration. But here's the catch. Admiration has a really short emotional lifespan. The excitement fades incredibly fast. That flashy new watch? It just becomes ordinary to you in a matter of weeks. That massive house? It just turns into a massive responsibility. The high disappears, and it leaves behind heavier, very real burdens. We're talking about the crushing weight of monthly payments, compounding debt, and that quiet, isolating anxiety that suddenly hits you at 2 in the morning. And then what happens? Well, you feel stressed out, so you instantly need another emotional boost to self-soothe. It is an exhausting, endless loop that drains your bank account and, honestly, your soul.
Which leads us directly into part 2, the hidden cost of serving the lifestyle.
We really need to talk about why some of the most outwardly successful people you see every day are actually feeling completely, totally exhausted on the inside. Every lifestyle upgrade they make just creates a new, unforgiving baseline. Every single display of success creates a silent expectation from everyone watching them. They basically stop living for themselves and start living for the audience. So I want you to ask yourself a seriously tough question right now. Are you owning your lifestyle or are you serving it? Owning it means you have absolute control, maximum flexibility, and actual emotional breathing room. Serving it means your lifestyle demands constant, unrelenting maintenance. You're trapped in anxiety, continuously needing to prove your value to external audiences. Really ask yourself which side of this ledger you're on. Because eventually, when you chase loud luxury, you stop owning your life and you literally become a servant to the image you've created. You end up being an employee to your own possessions. Freedom and attention rarely grow together. Let that sink in for a second. Freedom and attention rarely grow together. The more publicly a person displays their success, the more they invite expectations, harsh comparisons, and just emotional noise into their lives. Financially peaceful people, they understand this really early on. They realize that the more you need external validation, the more emotionally expensive your life becomes. Attention is literally a tax on your freedom.
Let's pivot a bit. Here is part 3, the revelation of quiet wealth, where we look at protecting your attention over your image.
Quiet wealth is definitely not about pretending to be modest, okay? It's not about playing small or hiding your success, not at all. It is about reaching this powerful, incredibly grounded point where your identity no longer depends on being successful by random strangers. It's about fiercely protecting your attention and your peace, rather than running around frantically protecting your image. There's a really stark contrast here. On one side, loud luxury is fueled by attention, anxiety, reactive spending, and these quick hits of dopamine. But on the other side, quiet wealth is built on privacy, absolute peace, independent decisions, and solid emotional regulation. Quietly wealthy people just use their money totally differently. Instead of using their cash as a megaphone to shout their identity to the world, they use it as a fortress to fiercely protect their independence and their peace of mind.
They build this fortress through what we call the invisible habits of wealth. They are actively delaying visible rewards to guarantee their future freedom. They prioritize actually owning assets over projecting some fake image. They practice this incredible stoic restraint instead of constantly chasing the next emotional stimulation. And they highly value calm environments and trusted deep relationships. True wealth is often built through behaviors that feel honestly totally unexciting in the moment. It grows through quiet discipline, relentless repetition, and a really deep emotional maturity that allows them to tolerate a slower but much deeper kind of satisfaction. They aren't in a rush to look rich, they are patiently ensuring they are wealthy.
True wealth eventually creates optionality. That's it. That right there is the core of everything we're talking about in this explainer today. Optionality is the ultimate power to just say no. It's the ability to move slowly if you want to. It's the absolute freedom to protect your energy instead of constantly selling off pieces of yourself just for society's approval. That kind of space, the space to actually think clearly, to make major decisions without panicking, to walk away from toxic environments without a moment of hesitation, that is the real prize. Everything else is just noise.
Moving right along to part 4, the architecture of stability. Let's look at old money versus new money.
Let's look at how long-established wealthy families handle all of this. There's a very specific reason you can rarely recognize old money in everyday life. They are taught from day one that unnecessary visibility creates unnecessary vulnerability. Attention just paints a massive target on your back. It attracts opinions, envy, ridiculous expectations, and all sorts of complications that directly threaten your peace. To them, flying under the radar isn't just a stylistic preference, it's a vital strategy for survival and legacy. The psychological difference here is massive. New money often feels this intense, burning pressure to prove their transformation. They need to show the world visible evidence that their life has changed, that they finally made it. But the old money mindset, it's entirely focused on preservation. They aren't asking, how successful do we appear to the neighbors? They are asking a much heavier, much more strategic question. How stable can we remain for the next 3 generations?
They literally treat their wealth as infrastructure. It's not a performance for them. It's the solid foundation of their entire existence. For these folks, true education absolutely matters more than the mere appearance of being smart. Deep, private relationships drastically outvalue any public status symbols. Their reputation is guarded quietly through extreme, unwavering consistency, not flashy PR stunts. They deliberately design their lives to create continuity across decades, totally avoiding the daily spectacles that destabilize families who lack that kind of discipline.
At a certain point, financially secure men and women go through a really profound internal shift. They completely stop asking, how do I look to other people? And they start asking a much more intimate, powerful question. How does my life actually feel? That is the transition right there. When you stop performing confidence and start actually feeling it deep in your bones, the entire relationship you have with money, with your identity, and with your self-worth completely transforms. You step out of the exhausting arena of public opinion and step into a life of genuine substance.
Which leads us to our final section, part 5, the ultimate luxury, from seen to felt. Modern life's performative theater on social media has left people absolutely drained. The constant digital rat race, that endless scroll of comparison, it creates this low-level anxiety that just follows you everywhere you go. People are so tired of projecting perfect, curated lives while privately facing absolute burnout behind closed doors. But the paradigm is shifting. Stability, privacy, and genuine breathing room, those are the new aspirations. So what does this breathing room actually look like in reality? Well, it means there's no quiet panic in your head when you're swiping your card at the grocery store. It means remaining completely, stoically unshaken when a massive, unexpected expense hits you out of nowhere. It means having the ultimate leverage to just walk away from a toxic job or a bad deal without an ounce of fear. It means sleeping deeply every single night without financial anxiety keeping you awake staring at the ceiling. You aren't trapped in an exhausting cycle of upgrading your identity to stay relevant. You are finally free. So, the absolute crucial point is this. Quiet wealth rarely creates noise. It creates peace. Look, the world is always going to celebrate loud, visible success because expensive cars, massive mansions, and designer labels, they're just easy for the masses to understand. They're loud. But true financial strength, it's completely invisible. It is a quiet confidence. It offers you total dignity and unbreakable security without ever requiring you to put on a performance.
I want to leave you with this final, incredibly powerful thought. The ultimate luxury may not be attention at all. It may be the ability to live comfortably without needing it. Quiet wealth isn't about faking humility, guys. It is about becoming emotionally free enough to stop performing your success for the rest of the world. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today. Do me a favor, take a hard look at your own life this week and really ask yourself, are you chasing the exhausting noise of success, or are you building the unshakable peace of true wealth?